Okay, it's Toby from Heavyweight MMA today with professional fighter Nate Law, fresh off his victory at the end of July. How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Man, so you're training out of the Fight Centre Brisbane and also at CKB in Auckland, New Zealand, bro. Sounds like you got some great mentors and great gyms to work with, brother.
Yeah, no, I mean the access to like great minds and great bodies is pretty much I think as good as I would get anywhere in the world, but definitely this part of the world for sure.
True, man. And with mentors like Dan Hooker and Ben Johnson, man, you're sitting in a real good place. Had a nice amateur career in kickboxing and then MMA, and now just moving into the pro ranks, bro. Must feel good.
Yeah, no, it's like this has been like since the day I walked into a gym. This all I've wanted to be is a professional fighter. So like, it's it's taken a while, and then I was obviously like kickboxing and stuff like that as well. But now I can finally call myself a professional fighter. So yeah, that feels good, and really happy with where I'm at.
Man, tell us a little bit about your background, like where you grew up, and then I guess your foray into league and then fighting quickly.
Yeah, so I grew up in Auckland. I was just playing sports like my whole life as a kid. I started with like soccer and cricket and stuff, and then I kind of just lost interest in that. Just kind of following what my brothers were doing, really. And
Yeah.
then when I was like 10 or 11, I started playing league, and then I did that for like 8 years, and I always loved league, but I kind of gave it a crack, and I wasn't going to like make it to the next level. And then one off season, I was still just playing club footy, and then one off season when I was like 19, I seen Dan had made a post about his gym at the time, and I've always wanted to try like fighting and stuff, but I just never really had the balls, to be honest. And when he posted about his gym, I messaged him and asked if I could come down and give it a try. And but literally from that first day, I was kind of like, I loved it. I just like never left the gym really, and just kept showing up. I quit league. Like I just told my coach, I'm not playing this year.
Yep.
Just started going to the gym every day.
Nice, bro. You mentioned in one of the interviews that there are some things that align a bit between rugby league and MMA, bro. I think you said physicality and tenacity, and that the good thing is you have like regular competition, bro. So that obviously sets you up for a good sort of start anyway before MMA.
Yeah, I think like that's probably the biggest thing is just like play like 20 weeks in a row in league. So like having long breaks in fighting is not really something I'm that interested in. Like I feel like I since I was a kid, like it's not as intense as fighting, but like competing every week has just been a normal thing, and like that's kind of my goal as a professional fighter as well. It's just to stay active. Like I don't want to be like fighting twice a year. I want to be fighting every like as often as I can. Really, like just
Yeah.
keep racking them up. That's what people no one really cares about how good you are in training. I guess they want to see you fight, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's true, man. Hey, there's a big difference though between the team sports and individual sport like this, right? Like in a game of league, you can kick back a bit, not be as active all the time. You can kind of rest and go hard and that. But in a fight, there's no chance for that, no time for that. All eyes on you, no chance to try, like chill out, really, right?
Yeah, that's it, bro. I think like I would always found it frustrating as well as people not pulling their weight in team sports. Is like people don't train as hard as you, they don't care as much as you, and then they'll just like put it on. Like you just get burdened with people's laziness. But I think fighting, it's just like 100% on you. Like if you want to be lazy and not train, then the results will show. Like under the lights, I guess. So like that's what I do like about the sport is like it's completely up to you how good you go, really.
And how do you approach the fight, man, in terms of that intensity and nerves and all that sort of thing? Like, what do you do to kind of prepare yourself mentally, bro?
Yeah, I guess like I mean everyone gets nervous and all that, but I think like the biggest thing that I've been doing in the last sort of like year and a half is not trying to like distract myself from the nerves, like not trying to like pretend that they're not there. It's just like when I go to spar and stuff in a fight camp, is I try get myself to that same mindset, and like I get nervous before sparrings on a Saturday and stuff because I'm trying to think the same way I would think on the fight night, because I was finding like even if I'd win fights, like kickboxing is, I just wouldn't be. I'd be getting the physical reps, but not the mental reps, and then fight night feels like a bit foreign sometimes, and I just felt like I was not even getting wins and stuff. Like I wasn't like fighting up to what I was showing in the gym and stuff, and so I guess just like getting the mental reps as well as the physical in training, like for those big sessions, sparring or our spider and stuff like that, have been like two big things I've done to kind of help with the mental side of fighting. And then by the time it gets to the night, like the nerves are definitely elevated, but like it's not something I'm unfamiliar with, I guess.
Yeah, man. Do you know Lennox Lewis, one of the old boxers, man,
One of
old
my favorite
heavyweight
of the
boxer?
boxers, yeah. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
my favorites.
One of the things he used to do was he'd actually like simulate going into the fight, get the guys to wrap his hands before sparring, and each
Oh, right.
session
Yeah.
it was like treating it like the actual lead up to a fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried
Okay,
doing
that's
that with
cool.
one of the amateurs before too, just like just warming up in a little outside area of the gym in a shitty sort of space, and then like walking in like you walk into the fight and get, like you said, get those reps down, kind of simulate the actual fight thing. I think there's a bit of reality in that, kind of like you said, does the mental rep gets you prepared for when it actually happens,
Yeah, I don't go to that extreme, but I do have like certain rituals, I guess. Like I eat the same foods every Saturday, and like put my cup in the same way and at the same time and all that sort of stuff. I get warm the same way I would and all that sort of stuff. So it
Yeah.
is like, yeah, it is the fight night on a Saturday isn't too distant from every other Saturday, I guess.
Yeah. And bro, you mentioned about like working yourself to get some nerves before sparring and that. I reckon you wouldn't have to work too hard when you're sparring with some of those CKB boys to get nervous, bro, because you're sparring like against the elite. You're sparring against the elite, bro. They must be testing you on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, it's you really got to be on, otherwise you just get get a hiding pretty much. So yeah, especially like and it's not even like, even the thing with like Dan is what's probably learnt the most from training with him and stuff is just like the it's almost like a mental thing. It's like he'll make you tired mentally and stuff. And if you're not like on that day, you're gonna get really tired really quick just from like the mental pressure he's putting on. So you got to have your head in the right space when you're sparring guys like that. Same kind of same with NA. It's like you just got to be in the right mindset going into sparring. Otherwise, like you're just gonna have a tough day.
Yeah, Dan mentioned that even at CKB, he said even the amateur level guys, if you're not on, they can fuck you up a bit. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of talent there.
Everyone there is like is hungry. Like it's not like people don't go into sparring there or like training just to like, oh, I'll see how it goes. Everyone there's trying to make a living out of this. So like you gotta be on. It's not like social sparring. Yeah.
Bro, I stupidly had lined up a sparring session with Dan when I was coming over to Auckland in last January, and unfortunately at the time he broke his arm, so it might have been a godsend that I didn't.
I think that's a good idea. I think you would have just like smashed your calf to bits, probably.
Yeah, for sure. But it'd be worth it, bro. I love Dan. He's an awesome dude. Hey, on that, bro, on the guys that you work with over, particularly in CKB, bro, who are the guys there that kind of stand out to you, mates, or just good athletes?
I guess like the guys that has sort of taken me under their wing would Brogan Anderson and Cam Ralston would probably be like two of the guys who have really taken me under their wing and give me that extra assistance, I guess. And especially over the last few years, like I've learnt a lot from them and like their experiences in the sport. And they're like two of my best mates as well. I guess the other guys, I've done a ton of sparring with Dan because he's pretty much fought like 5 southpaws in a row before this one. So I sparred him a bunch. And then like I was saying, like just a lot of like mental growth out of that, I guess. Mike Timms, when he was there, was like one of my main guys as well, who would just bash me like twice a week. And then it kind of like the rest of them, I guess, will just, a lot of it will depend on if someone's fighting a southpaw, then I'll get a lot of work in with them. Carlos has fought a few, so done a fair few rounds with him or whoever it is, and then yeah, I mean, we don't like discriminate too much on weight. Like I'll be sparring guys from lightweight up to light heavyweight, really. Just depends who needs the work, I guess.
Who at CKB, who would you say is kind of the meanest sparring partner, the dude that'll, you know, be a bit ruthless with you guys?
That was definitely Mark. Like I don't know, he just like took out all his rage on me. I never cracked the code though, so never felt like I had figured him out even until he went to China or whatever. And
Yeah.
Dan would definitely be in that same cloth, I guess. Is like, you got to be on it, otherwise it's a tough night. But I mean, most of the other guys will probably not quite so intense, but it's still got to be sharp, eh?
And what about like as far as good dudes that you feel like are really nice people over there, just out of interest?
Oh, top of the list would probably be Kieran Joblin. Like that's probably like the best dude I've ever met, eh? Like just can't say bad. He's just like the most solid dude I know. Another guy I'm really good friends with is James Bucky. I think he's the man as well. And John Bucky is also like just a really good dude. And probably like John and Kieran are two guys that I kind of look up to as people, I guess, and just like good examples of what we should be doing as guys. And Kieran's like just a good family man and just a great teammate, I guess, as well. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I saw Kieran fighting in a small sort of studio fight in One FC in Singapore once, and I also had a chat with him online before. Yeah, he was really nice to talk to, bro. I hope I can catch up with him again.
Yeah, he's just the most solid dude, eh? Like always there for the teammates, always there for his family, and yeah, just still competing. Like I think he's had almost 50 fights, so just like New Zealand combat sports legend, really.
Yeah, true. Man, looking at you fighting, like you just mentioned about Cam Battle Draft Ralston and watching you guys, watching your style, there's obviously such a commonality between all the CKB guys fighting that it's like a formula, right? Like they've kind of written a formula that is being very successful at this point in time, bro.
Yeah.
How far along would you say you are in learning that sort of, that style completely? Because obviously it's a learning process. I've heard that people say it takes a long time to really get it.
Yeah. I guess I'm not like, because I had like other influences because at Dan's gym, Mark was like kind of my striking coach and Dan as well. So there is like some similarities there, but it's not completely the same. And then obviously now I'm at the Fight Center, so it's just like I feel like I've definitely mixed some of those things into the way I fight, but I'm not like just like a carbon copy of like that CKB style, I guess. And the other thing is I know in the last like year and a bit they are like changing the way they do things as well, because it is kind of, I guess people are catching up to it in a way. So I guess that their system is evolving as well. It's not just the same thing that was working 5 years ago. There's actually been like some pretty big changes to the way that those guys are approaching fights and stuff, and you'll probably see that come out in the next like little while. But that's the good thing with like having such a good coach like Eugene, is like he's not just stuck in his ways about we fight this way and it's always going to be like that. It's like what worked 5 years ago. It's like the sport's caught up, I guess, and he's also evolving with the time. So I guess to answer your question is like I wouldn't say I'm like fully like a CKB guy. I've just picked up things from like being in class here obviously and all that, but also from like Dan and Mark Timms and Ben and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, bro. To be honest, though, you do have different elements, but if you watch you, 100%. If you know like the sport and the different people, you'll pick those CKB tendencies, mostly from that lead hand, the moving, the attacking the legs early, stuff like that. Like it just it's like it just looks exactly like Cam Ralston and those guys.
Yeah, I guess that's no, you're right on that, and I guess I didn't start by just being like I fight like this and like it was there's a bit more to it, I guess, and just trying to like also just for my build and stuff
Yeah.
is like fight how a 6'2" welterweight should fight, and not like
Yeah.
fight like I'm 5'8" or something like that.
I love your leg dexterity, bro. You get those high kicks up so easy, man. It's nice to see.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I just don't really stretch too much. I just throw them, and
Let's get up there.
that's pretty much
Yeah.
it.
It was something I always wished that Dan had thrown more, or I hope he throws more in the future, because he's got a beautiful head kick in the past. Like when I first met Dan, I'm living in Macau, China. I first met him here, not far from where I am now, and
Yeah.
I saw him on the pads, and I went, man, he's got a beautiful head kick, and I've just almost never seen him throw it.
Yeah, he throws it in sparring, and like he's like super flexible. Like he does. I never see him stretch or like barely warm up and stuff, but he's like extremely dexterous, and he throws it in sparring. But I don't know. I think he really likes kicking people's legs and stuff as well. So I
Yeah,
couldn't tell you why, but I think he's got one knockout in the UFC from a head kick back in the day. But no, he's definitely got the flexibility and capability to do it.
and bro, is the blonde hair influenced at all by Dan Hooker, or what?
No. Oh, yeah, I was gonna do this. I was literally gonna do it one weekend, and then he walks into the gym with blonde hair. I'm like, oh, I can't do it anymore. So I had to wait like another 6 months before I did it. Yeah, I had already planned this before he got it done, and I'm like, oh, I can't like now go get it because I'm already like.
Yeah.
I already live in the guy's shadow enough, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to leave it, eh? But,
Bro,
yeah.
you're gonna have to hold off a bit on getting the tats all over your body now after he just went full hog.
I won't be doing that. I won't be doing that. My mum and dad might disown me if I do that.
How is it, man? He went from like 0 tattoos to like all the tattoos.
Yeah, it's been an interesting rebrand in the last couple of years. But
Yeah, bro.
I
Hey,
don't know what's
man.
going on.
So July, I think it was July 20. Was it? Oh, 17th. I mean, the July you had your first pro MMA fight. Was that against Sean Colmore? Is that correct?
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. How did it feel switching up, bro? Changing gears, moving a little bit further into your career.
Yeah, no, it feels like I've been overdue. Like it's been like I said, it's been a long time coming, and I guess the time leading up to this has almost been like a apprenticeship period for me. And I just feel like I'm ready to go and make a run in against the professional welterweights in this part of the world.
Yeah, bro. So you've moved to Fight Centre Brisbane. I heard you mention that you had the opportunity and you thought it's a good thing because you get more fights over there, right, in Australia than New Zealand.
Yeah, no, that was like the only inspiration for the move, really. Like, it's not like I didn't have access to good training partners or coaches in New Zealand, but we got a fight, and it's not just, it wasn't just me with that problem. I guess there's a lot of guys on the regional scene out of CKB that just aren't very active and that do always training, and I just don't want to kind of fall into that thing where I'm only fighting once or twice a year, because you just run out of time, mate. We don't have forever to make it. Like as an athlete, like we don't have to wear 50 to fight, you know. So like I'm trying to get as many fights in while I'm still young, and Ben was like real good. Like he gave me a job and like a place to stay and stuff like that, and it's been very easy to get fights. So I'm not exactly sure what's happening in New Zealand. Part of it is not enough shows, and part of it is like a lot of the good fighters just fight out of CKB, so it does make it a bit harder. But I've definitely not had that problem in Australia. So while I'm still getting fights and stuff, I'll continue to stay here.
Yeah, and like you said, you've already had like access to such good training and good fighters. It can only help you to join another good gym and like develop yourself further, learn new facets of the sport and new mentalities, and like you said, new bodies to train with as well.
Yeah, for sure. That's been great. We got Darcy Fendi, who's extremely talented. Like one of the like best people I've ever trained with. Just like just a great athlete and a good mind for the sport as well. And then we got Nick Kepu as well, and obviously Ben would probably be like my main training partners. And then we got a few other guys on the come up at similar weight to me as well. So I still got like still getting hard rounds in wrestling and sparring and all that sort of stuff. So I do feel like I'm being pushed. And like you said, bro, just like a new perspective on the sport as well.
Yeah. And how do you find Australia, man? Like in comparison to New Zealand, what are the differences? What do you like, dislike?
Oh, I love it here, eh? Because this was just going to be like, I was going to come for a few months, try to get a few fights, and then go back. But it's actually been a year this week. So, no, I do love it. Like, probably the first thing would just be the weather, eh? Like, it's 22 degrees today in the middle of winter, like blue skies. You can't complain about that. Just feel like everyone's pretty upbeat and stuff like that as well. And there's just a lot of stuff to do. Like Auckland's still home, but lived there for like 24 years, and it changes scenery. I think has been really good for just my perspective on life and stuff like that as well. And I've haven't even seen that much of Australia, to be honest. And that's like definitely on my list of things to do is get out and see the outback and different parts of the country, because this place is sick, and I can't say enough good things about it.
Plenty of gyms to visit around the place too, bro, if you get a chance. Like, I don't know about the relationships between Fight Centre and the others, but I know CKB as an example, Freestyle MMA in Sydney and that, they go down visit down there quite a bit. Like some of these places would be cool to check out just for a couple of weeks or something.
Definitely, yeah. Even like see like Jack Della and stuff. That would be a real cool guy to train with if I had that opportunity.
That's
just
true,
like
man.
One of the top athletes in the world.
On that, bro, any chance you're going to make it to 305? Big show coming up in Perth, Australia on the 18th of August?
I'd love to, but probably the finances will say no. But I mean, I'd love to be there, but just gotta work and all that sort of stuff. So
true, bro. So, man, to the rest of this year, only 6 months or so left of this year, or maybe 5 months now. What are your plans for the year? How many fights would you like to get in that time, and where do you think they'd be?
Yeah, I wanted to get another 3 in the next 5 or whatever months. I don't know if that'll happen, but I was pushing for Hex, but that's 4 weeks away, and I'll still be ready. Of course, like I'm already back training and all that sort of stuff. So if that happens, that'd be great. But if not, it's looking like it'll be beat down in October, and then if all goes to plan, probably back on Shuriken at the start of December. So I think 2 more fights, but I mean I'm always like training, and I don't cut like a ton of weight either. So like it would be like I'm always prepared for like a short notice one as well. And just want to stay active.
You should hit up Eternal. You never know, one might come up on that show the night before UFC. Then you could be over there.
Well, I seen they had one that would be perfect actually. But I seen they had Cam had posted about a welterweight fight for the 31st of August, and I asked Ben about that one, and he just said that's probably one that will happen later down the road. I don't even know who it was, but I was keen to fight in a few weeks, but I just kind of I don't do my own matchmaking really. I'm the fighter, not the manager, so just leave that up to Ben.
Man, I'm gonna make a guess and hazard a guess that you're intending to try and get into a big organisation like UFC eventually, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm in the sport. Like I wouldn't be wasting my time if I'm just here to like. I don't think anyone competes with the goal of fighting down at Mansfield Tavern or something. Like I think we all want to get to the big leagues, right? So that's why I've given my life to this sport is to make it to the UFC, not to fight in the regional scene. I mean, that's part of the process, obviously. But if my goal's not the world stage, then what's the point?
The reason I was going to ask is because I just did an interview with Urseg the other day, Stephen Urseg, and the good thing is I interviewed him 3 years ago when he was on the local scene, and I asked him
Yeah.
like how he'd go against some of the current UFC fighters and what he'd do, and he actually talked about Kai Kara France. So it's kind of cool that I could look back and tell him what he'd said, how he'd beat him in that 3 years ago. So I wanted to ask you the same thing, bro. If you get into UFC, how do you think you'll go? Any sort of key guys you'd like to fight, or you can imagine fighting in the UFC top 15 for your division?
Yeah, I guess I mean, I do understand that I need to get the experience under my belt before I start talking shit or nothing like that. But a guy I've always and I really respect him as a fighter, which is why I would want to do it. But Kamaru Usman's always the guy I've wanted to fight at. I just think he's just real well rounded, and his mind for fighting is real good. So that's always been a guy I've been that's probably my dream fight. And then a guy like Leon Edwards as well. He's probably my favorite fighter. So a guy like him as well would be two guys that I'd really want to test myself against. But there's obviously a crop of new welterweights on the come up, Shavkat and Jack Dalla and all that sort of stuff. But those guys aren't really in my sights. You got to do good on the local scene before I even think about that. So I'm more thinking about guys in Australia and stuff at the moment.
Yeah. Anyone in the Australian scene, bro, who have you got your eyes on? Is there a particular person, a title holder, other contenders that you're looking at? Yeah,
for sure there is. But I'll just keep chipping away with whoever's in front of me. And those guys have put in the groundwork, so I don't feel like I need to be mentioning their name at the moment. Just
fair call.
Because they got the runs on the board and I don't. So, but
that's a fair call, bro.
I'm definitely thinking about them. That's for sure.
Bro, I was just thinking, when I had a look at a few of your fights just leading up to the chat, and when you were doing kickboxing, your pace seemed a bit different than when I've seen you in the MMA fights. Was that true? You look like you're a bit more I don't know, it looks like you're a bit more intense when you get into the MMA fights, a little bit higher work rate and that, man. Would that be true to say?
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And I think it's just I was just still very young and inexperienced, and like I was saying, I didn't come my introduction to the sport wasn't hands up and throw combinations, so it did take a while for things to make sense, and I would go into a lot of those fights probably thinking more about what I should do than just doing it, and so I guess I would go in trying to be perfect and stuff, and it would lead to not probably, I don't know. I didn't think I was that great at kickboxing, to be honest, and I feel like I'm a better MMA fighter, and I just feel like I've matured a bit, and I can kind of just go into these fights just a bit more sure of what I'm actually doing in there.
Cool. All right, man. That's all the kind of questions I had, bro. So it's been nice to have a chat with you, bro. Appreciate your time, and
awesome.
Really looking forward to seeing you mature in your career and getting some fights in over in Australia, brother.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll keep this momentum going.
Yeah, bro, let's keep in touch, and as you get on these title contentions, we'll have another chat, eh?
Yeah, of course.
All right.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, brother. Cheers, man.